I do. Now, the questioner says, asks, we are in conflict. Must it end? If we are battling with each other all day long, as most people are, struggle, conflict, you know, the bitterness, the anger, the hatred, the repulsion. We bear it as long as we can, then comes a moment we have to break. We know the familiar pattern of this. There are more divorces than marriage, after marriage. And the questioner asks, what is one to do if I am everlastingly in conflict with my wife, and somehow I can't patch it over? Must the relationship end? Or I understand basically the cause of this disruption, of this conflict, which is the sense of separate individualities, and I have seen the illusory nature of it, and therefore I am no longer pursuing the individual line. Therefore, what takes place between me, who have perceived that, and lives it, not verbally maintains it, but actually lives it, then what is my relationship with the person, with the woman, who still thinks in terms of the individual? You understand my question? It's very interesting. Go into it. I see, or she sees, better put it on to her. She sees the foolishness, the absurdity, the illusory nature of the individual. She understands it, she feels it. And I don't, because I'm a male. I'm more aggressive, more driving and all the rest of that. So, what takes place between us? She has comprehended the nature, and I have not. She won't quarrel with me, never, right? She won't enter into that area at all. But I'm constantly pushing her, driving her, and trying to pull her out of that area. I am creating the conflict, not she. You've understood how the whole thing has moved. Are you following all this? The whole thing has moved. There were no two people quarreling, but only one. See what has taken place. And I, if I am at all sensitive, if I have real feeling for her, I begin to also transform. Because she is irrevocably there. You understand? She will not move out of that area. See what happens. If two immovable objects meet, there is conflict. I don't know. But if one is immovable, the lady, and I am movable, I naturally yield. to that which is immovable. Right? I wonder if you understand all this. This is very simple. So, the problem then is resolved if one has real comprehension of relationship without the image, which we went into previously. Then by her very presence, by her very vitality of actuality, she's going to transform me. Help. That's the answer. Got it? Would you please go into what you mean by reading the book of one's life at a glance or with a single look? Would you please go into what you mean by reading the book of one's life at a glance or at a single look? I think it is fairly obvious that we, human beings, are the history of mankind. Right? In us is the totality of all human psychological knowledge. Right? That's fairly obvious. I hope, must I go into that? That is, the story of mankind, which are wars, tears, bloodshed, pain, grief, laughter, agony, anxiety, loneliness, sorrow, all that is part of me. I am that. I am the story of all that. Right? The book of history is me, not the kings and part of the kings too. I'm all that. Now, can I read that book